Okay, I wanted to knock this quickie out. I'm literally filming this right after the Super Bowl just happened, and since I didn't do a Super Bowl preview or anything like that, I feel like I should do something in regards to the Super Bowl and comment on it and whatever. And I won't have time to do it during the week because I am posting part 2 of my WrestleMania Top 30 match list. I'll be posting that tomorrow, so you'll probably be seeing that tomorrow evening, so enjoy that. And part 1 of my Godzilla movie review series will be coming the weekend that follows. So a lot of stuff going on, and I won't have time to really squeeze the Super Bowl reaction in there, so I figured I'd just go ahead and get it out there. And I do want to comment on the Super Bowl because I never imagined that the game would turn out like this. That was an ass whooping that I never thought would have been possible. That was bad, and I mean, I initially picked the Broncos to win, but I thought, Seahawks are really good, so it won't be, I don't expect a blowout. I expect a really good close game with a really good offense and a really good defense. And, we'll just see what happens when that comes to head. But I never dreamed that this game would turn into the passion of the Denver Broncos. I mean, it was a disaster, literally from the first snap. When the snap sailed over Peyton's head and the Seahawks got that safety, which is going to go down as one of the biggest Super Bowl blunders ever. I mean, that's right up there with what are some of like Thurman Thomas forgetting his helmet, and who was that Panthers kicker? Casey, who kicked the ball out of bounds, which put Brady in position to win the game. That was Super Bowl 38. Theismann's big boneheaded play in the game against the Raiders at 18. I mean, this is going to go down as one of the big, huge Super Bowl blunders. And it was literally the first snap of the game. It was just horrendous. And it set the tone for the rest of the game because the Denver Broncos never got on track. Peyton somehow set the record for most completions by a quarterback in the Super Bowl, and Demaryius Thomas set the record for most catches. And I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Because it felt like they never had the ball, but they did throw a lot of 2-yard screen passes that didn't go anywhere. I mean, Seattle's defense was just all over them all game long. It was just a disaster from the word go. And I have to say, well, first of all, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for winning. It's their first Super Bowl win. I felt like the referees kind of cost them the last Super Bowl they were in. Some of those calls that went against them were a little iffy in my eyes, and it kind of, raised a few eyebrows. So it's cool that they won a Super Bowl. I'm always happy to see a new team win it. Not that I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan or anything, but my parents are actually pissed because they hate Pete Carroll with a passion. So they're all pissed off right now that it worked out the way it did, but I personally don't mind. So yeah, congratulations to them. I am very happy that they actually gave the MVP award to a defensive player, because I made this comment last year. It's kind of become the quarterback award. And when Flacco won it last year, I was just like, come on, really? And I'm not dissing on Joe Flacco. I just felt like Jacoby Jones was the MVP of that game. That's as clear as day. Why is he not winning the award? So it was nice that not only did it not go to a quarterback this year, but it went to a defensive player. And absolutely, it had to go to somebody from the defense because they just destroyed Peyton Manning all game long. I mean, their offense never got on track. I don't know how they got 8 points. It was like they got 8 points. I don't know how that even happened. It was just a pure and utter domination. From the botched snap at the start to the Peyton pick six that happened to, the halftime score was 22-0, and I thought, okay, maybe Peyton and the Broncos can come back from that. Let's see. And then literally, just like that, the opening kickoff got run back for a touchdown by Percy Harvin, and Percy Harvin had a really good game. He came back for this and he looked really good, and from that point on, I was like, well, this game's over. I mean, it just kept snowballing and getting worse and worse and worse to the point that it turned into that Simpsons moment where Homer beat up the Hamburglar and the kids are like, stop, he's already dead. Or my favorite one, I saw somebody post this on the message board I was looking at. Somebody posted the clip from Rocky IV with Apollo Creed's trainer yelling at Rocky to throw the towel as Ivan Drago was beating the shit out of Creed. Throw the damn towel! That's exactly how I was reacting during this game because it was just, there's nothing else to really say. It was just pure and utter domination from the word go. I mean, the Broncos just never got on track, and I have no explanation for why that happened. But what I will say, and is the ultimate point I wanted to make, I remember every Super Bowl from Giants and Buffalo Bills, which was 25, all the way to today. That's all the Super Bowls that I remember actually sitting down and watching, and obviously I've seen highlights of the ones that preceded that one, but let's start, okay, the starting point, let's say 25 to now, and all the Super Bowls that have happened in between. I have never seen a team so thoroughly outclassed, outmatched, and just unprepared for the Super Bowl. And I've seen some stinkers in my day. I've seen, I lived through the Buffalo Bills and their string of disasters. I lived through the Steelers and their quarterback, I think his name was O'Donnell, practically handing the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl 30 on a silver platter. I lived through the San Diego Chargers getting butt-fucked by the wrath of Steve Young. I lived through the New York Giants getting obliterated by Ray Lewis and the Ravens, a game that gave me a lot of pain, quite honestly. I've gotten over it, but that was a dark day to be a Giants fan. And I'm being truthful when I say this. I have never seen a team look as bad as the Broncos did tonight. And not in the Super Bowls that I remember watching in my lifetime. And I mean, sure, there was another one where the Broncos got butt-fucked by the 49ers when Joe Montana was under center, and that one was pretty bad. But that's also a Broncos game, so it's like, ugh. I mean, it was really, I'm sure for a lot of Broncos fans, they were having horrible flashbacks to the Elway 80s years when they were just the Super Bowl whipping boys. And, you know, there was obviously the Bears and the Patriots in the mid-'80s where the Bears just enforced their will for most of the game. But, you know, I've never... And, of course, you know, Redskin fans remember Black Sunday against the Raiders. I already referenced that game. But I have never seen a team look so flat and look so unprepared for the game. It was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, is this the Denver Broncos? This is the AFC champions? The Peyton Manning having the best year for any quarterback ever in the history of the league, and this is how they come out and play the Super Bowl? I mean, and it wasn't even just the offense. And granted, Seattle's defense just shut them down and made them look like a joke. But their defense couldn't stop Russell Wilson or the offense, and Russell Wilson didn't have to do much. He just had to, you know, basically Russell Wilson's only job in this game was to not turn the ball over. The defense will handle the rest. But they couldn't stop him on offense. Special teams were a disaster for most of it. It was, I mean, they had turnovers. I mean, they turned the ball over on special teams, and obviously, like I said, the kickoff got run back. It was just, they were just thoroughly and soundly beaten in all phases of the game, and they looked completely unprepared to be in the Super Bowl. And I've never seen a team play that badly in the Super Bowl. And again, I'm talking, I lived through some shit ones, but that... Even like the bad ones, like the Buffalo Bills against the Cowboys, at least the Buffalo Bills tried, you know? At least the Chargers against Steve Young and the 49ers, at least they tried. At least the Giants against the Ravens, their defense played okay. Not well enough, obviously, but they played okay. They just looked... The only thing the Broncos seemed prepared for was Marshawn Lynch. That was it. It was like that looked like the only thing that they were prepared for. They stopped him pretty decently for the most part, but it didn't matter like at all. But yeah, I just wanted to come in here and comment about how shockingly awful that Super Bowl was and how I did not expect the Broncos to come out that flat. And you expect the Broncos to be, you know, the way they played this year. I mean, this wasn't a team that sort of lucked their way into the playoffs and then lucked their way, you know, through the championship game and everything and then made it into the Super Bowl. This was a team that set records and beat people's asses and, you know, made Tom Brady look like a bitch in the championship game. I mean, this was a team that looked really, really good. And they came out here and they looked like they didn't belong there. I mean, I mean, no team is unbeatable, but Seattle looked invincible in this game. Like, there was literally nothing the Broncos could do. And that was just thoroughly shocking to me that the Broncos... I don't know what happened. I don't know if the players were just shell-shocked by the nature of the Super Bowl. I don't know if... Because I know they're not really that bad. obviously, I mean, granted, Seattle's a very good team, but and again, that kind of enhances another amazing thing is that it's amazing how the NFC West has actually turned into a pretty solid division after years of being the joke division. They've kind of, Seattle's, obviously, they're the Super Bowl champions. The 49ers made it to the NFC Championship game, and they're really good under Harbaugh's coaching. They've been great. And the Cardinals, they always hang in there. They're always sneakily hanging in there, and they almost made the playoffs this year. So the NFC West, actually, out of nowhere, kind of became a good division. I don't know how, but it, good on them after being the shit division for so long. And now the NFC East is the shit division if you look at the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Giants and the Redskins and how they all played this year. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on the Super Bowl. I was just thoroughly stunned by the performance of the Denver Broncos, or lack thereof. It was awful. It was an ass whooping. It was a massacre. It was a bloodbath. I already called it the passion of the Denver Broncos. It was just a disaster, and one of the most shockingly bad Super Bowls I've ever seen. And what an odd way to end the 2013 season, but here's waiting for next year.